Life rooms hate crime. Action.
Hi everyone and welcome to another Life Rooms video. I'm Mark, one of the learning facilitators here at the Life Rooms, and this is one of a series of videos centred around the learning disability communities. And in this video we're going to be focusing on hate and mate crime. And today I've got Kate Gore from Merseyside Police with us, and I've also got John Rand with us. So thanks both of you for joining us today. And as I said at the beginning of the video, this video is about hate crime and mate crime. So we'll find out what they are in a moment. But first off, I just wanted to ask you why you wanted to be involved in this video. So Kate?
Yeah, so I'm the hate crime coordinator for Merseyside Police for the Sefton area. My job is to ensure that people are supported who are the victims of hate crime. Disability hate crime is massively underreported, so any opportunity we've got to raise the profile of that and awareness raising, then that's what we want to do. So we're keen to be involved so that people know how to report it.
And that's great, and that's what we want to discuss in this video, how people can raise any sort of concerns they may have with regards to crime. So I think that's brilliant that you're taking part today. So thanks for that, Kate. And what about yourself, John? Why did you want to be involved in this video?
I want to be involved with the video because, hate crime is hate crime, but mate crime is different.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk about the differences in a moment, but I know you're very passionate about hate crime and sort of having the confidence to report hate crime. Is that right, is it, John?
It is, yeah.
Good. Well, it's really good to have you involved today, both of you, so thanks. So I think we'll start off, going on what you've just said, John, is first answering what a hate crime actually is.
Hate crime is a crime that you would not get involved with.
Yeah, so I suppose the word hate, there's hatred involved.
The word hate is what you said, hatred. And hate crime is also people with a learning disability, a learning disability, Down syndrome, and people like that can be by themselves.
Yeah.
I think from a police perspective for us, for hate crime, so it's our official definition is a prejudice or intolerance based on a person's characteristics. And those 5 characteristics are race and religion, disability, and then, LGBTQ as it is now. So they're the 5 strands that we focus on with hate crime. But the word hate crime makes it sound like it has to be a criminal offence, but it doesn't. Sometimes it can just be an incident, but those incidents happening time and time again can then constitute a crime because it may be harassment.
And I think what John's saying is because you're Down syndrome, you've been the victim of a hate crime because of that reason. And you know, as you say, you're more than capable of living, you know, an independent life, as you've said. So why should John become a victim of a hate crime? And that's why we wanted to make this video and explain, you know, if you are a victim, who you can go to. So I've also mentioned the term mate crime. So what is mate crime?
So I think mate crime is when you befriend that person and you pretend to be their friend. I think with a person with a learning disability or any disability, because not all disabilities are visible, you can have hidden ones as well. Often people want to fit in and have friendships. A lot of them don't attend social groups and things like that. And people will target those individuals. It might be, oh, can I just come in for a cup of coffee, and then can I just lend some money, and then, oh, I've got nowhere to stay, can I stay here? So they tend to take over that person's life, and sometimes that person doesn't understand, or they just want to have those, they believe those people are their friends.
So in essence, it's exploiting someone's vulnerability. What's the difference between hate and mate crime then?
What mate crime is, it depends what you just said before about mate crime, their friends being at but they're not your friends.
Yeah.
Don't want to pretend maybe you're going to get you want to be in the gang, but it's like bullying. In a
Yeah,
way.
I think the make crime falls under the umbrella, but in the first instance of it, it's not necessarily a criminal offence. You have to be able to prove that that person has taken advantage of that person. It's quite difficult to differentiate the two, really, because they're targeting that person's vulnerabilities, but then their behaviour would lead to criminal offences, which then would constitute a hate crime because they're targeting that person.
Yeah, so that does make sense. That because how would you prove someone if someone's saying, well, I'm being the friend, I'm going and helping them at the shopping or things like that.
Yeah, and I think there's some issues. If you've got the person who we believe is the victim, they will often say, no, I'm happy, I've asked them to do that, and then there becomes that like capacity issue. Does that person, is that person able to make their own decisions? So it does, from a police perspective, it's quite difficult to prove. But I think it's about, as you say, what you've already done, it's about educating people about how to recognise that. How come they're suddenly taking my money? Why are they all staying in my flat overnight and things like that? So it's hugely about being able, friends and carers, being able to recognise it as well.
And I think you've just gave some good examples there, but I know earlier on, John, we spoke about this, and you said you yourself have been a victim of hate and make crime. So how did that make you feel, being a victim of a hate or make crime?
I was first depressed, like I was thinking about St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's night. My first PA, my first assistant, she got bullied, and I was done out to myself. So don't be like emotional. That's what we call, as well as make crime, it's hate crime. So because of that, I went to another company called Mincap, and I told them. And then I went to court, told the truth. And because of that, when I told the truth, they went to prison. I watched about hate crime, disability hate crime, make crime.
Okay, so just to sort of reiterate that, John, so the first person you told that you were the victim of hate crime sort of said, oh, don't be emotional about it and don't worry about it, which makes it worse, doesn't it? You know, and you've still got that, and it may continue, this sort of type of bullying, but then after you went to Mencap and you told a member of staff there, they encouraged you to contact the police, and then through that you ended up, informing the police what had happened, and the person who committed the hate crime went to court and got convicted of hate crime. Okay, so that's a real good example, that, John, of having the courage to actually speak up and tell someone that you think you're the victim of a hate crime, and then following through with that and going to the police and reporting it. That's the right thing to do, isn't it, Kate?
Definitely, yeah. And that's so you had an organisation to go to be able to go and discuss that. If you think about other people who might be in your situation, a lot of them are vulnerable and on their own. So whereas you might go out one day and you get verbally abused at the bus stop, and then the next day you go, oh, I'm a little bit nervous, and then the third day you don't go out at all, and those people become socially isolated. So that's why it's so important that people report. And the thing that's most important to remember is that the definition of hate crime is perceived by the victim or any other person. So we could go out with you now, John, like to go and get a taxi, and somebody could say something to you and you would go, well, that happens to me all the time. Whereas we would go, no, that's absolutely terrible, we're going to report that on that person's behalf. So it's really important that people do that.
So I suppose what we're saying as well is we're encouraging family members, friends and carers to speak up for someone if they feel that they're a victim of a hate crime. That's really interesting, and thanks for sharing that with us, John. I think that's going to be really helpful to people. So, basically it's about having someone you can trust who you can inform that you've been a victim of hate crime. So what type of people can we inform? So, who can we tell if we're a victim of hate crime?
So there's obviously the police in the first instance, and that's 999 in emergency, 101 in a non-emergency. But we've also got the Facebook and Twitter and online as well. And sometimes, if people are able to, they're more confident with being able to type than speaking to somebody on a phone. Sometimes that's better for them. So it's being able to reach everybody in the right forum. And then obviously you know the organisations that you go to. You'll also see as well across the city we have third party reporting centres. So you may see like a red hand, and it's like a Stop Hate UK, and you can go in there and they should be able to provide a telephone for you, and you'll be able to speak confidentially to Stop Hate UK. And again, there's online reporting systems for Stop Hate UK as well.
Good. How does that sound to you then, John? Does that sound good that there's a lot more options now to report hate crimes and hate crimes? I think it's really interesting about using social media, because I know for me it'd be difficult picking the phone up. So to actually do it over social media and get a response, I think that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as well you can ring 101 and you can be on hold for that long. That, you know, being able to do it immediately, you go, right, I've done that, it's done now, I've reported it, rather than sitting on a phone, because by the time the call gets answered, you might go, oh, I'm just wasting everybody's time because this is really busy, and you're not wasting people's time. So it's really important that we know about it. And I think we've said previously, it might not necessarily be a crime, but it's important that we know those things are happening, because you might prevent it from happening to somebody else. And it might be, the solution might be as simple as our local PCSOs patrolling that area and identifying who's responsible, and maybe then going into the school and doing some hate crime training in the school. It doesn't always have to go down that court route. There's loads of different resolutions that we can reach to try and prevent it from happening to people.
And that's really good. I think prevention is actually a big key to this, isn't it? So let's go out, I think we spoke about it earlier on, John, let's go out and educate people and say why it's wrong to you know, to shout things at people or be abusive to someone or bully someone. And I think you coming here today and telling us how it made you feel, you know, you said earlier on how, you know, it made you feel sad and depressed. You know, no one should have to go through that. So I think it's really brave of you to actually come here today, John, and actually share that story with us. So thanks for that. And again, Kate, thanks for you giving a lot of information. I think...
One more thing to add on, one more thing to add on, is some people with make crime, like with alcohol.
So alcohol could be cause of someone being abusive
Being
to someone.
abusive to someone, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that is a fair point to make. So there could be other elements that cause someone to be the perpetrator, so the person who does the hate crime. There could be elements, it could be alcohol or drugs. I think that's...
And hugely, I think you usually find that the offenders who are responsible for that make crime are those type of people, because they're looking for money, for funds available or somewhere to stay to be able to, you know, buy drugs or alcohol. So I think you do find that they're the people who will target people.
I think that's a really good point to make, John. Thanks for that. What I was going to say is, I think we're coming to the end of the video now. I think it's been really informative, but I'm going to give you both the option just to, if you want to make any closing comments. So I want to start with you first, John. Anything that you'd like to say to encourage people to report a hate crime? What message would you like to send out there?
Just about hate crime, what is make crime and hate crime, that's all.
Yeah, and I suppose be brave like you've been, and not be worried and go out and report it if you are the victim. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Brilliant, thanks for that, John. And Kate, what about yourself? Any closing comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, I think for us, for a police perspective, it's just really important that people report it to us. Each area's got a hate crime coordinator, and our role is to ensure the people have got the right support, regardless of what strands of hate it is. And we'll make referrals, because not everybody's got people to support them. So whilst it might not constitute a crime, we've got the 3 victim care agencies we're able to refer to, and also the support of the hate crime coordinators in each area as well. So whilst you'll have an officer or a detective investigating your case, you'll also have that support as well, because Merseyside Police want you to have confidence in reporting to us.
Good, and I think that puts the person who's been a victim at ease, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just having that point of contact, and sometimes, you know, we all do it in our day-to-day lives. It's just about explaining the process and what will happen next, and or if it isn't a crime, it's about maybe linking in with your housing organisation or getting you involved in a local support group so you've got that network in case it ever happens to you in the future. There might be other actions that we can take. It doesn't necessarily have to go down that criminal route.
That's great. Thanks for that, Kate. And thanks again, John. So thanks everyone for watching this video. I hope you found it really informative. We're going to have all the details of who you can contact and what support is available at the end of the video. And feel free to send us any comments below the video. So I think it's now time for Kate and John for us all to say goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.